My background is I was an animal science student at the University of Illinois. Wanted to be a veterinarian, just like a lot of other students do. Realized that probably wasn't going to happen for me. It was very competitive. I had to learn how to study, and that took a couple years. But I needed a job, so I started cutting meat at the University Meat Lab. Got really into the physiology and meat science side of things. There was an opportunity to work full-time and do my master's at the university when I finished my undergrad. So I helped manage the University Meat Lab, finished up my master's in meat science and physiology, and then went to work in the industry. I actually went to UC Davis, to California, to run the meat lab full-time out there. And been involved in the meat side of things for about 12 years, worked in a couple of industry jobs, and decided I wanted to go back and do a PhD. I wanted to learn more about nutrition. And at that time, the muscle myopathies were kind of a big deal in the poultry industry. They were just a new occurrence. So I thought there was an opportunity to go learn more about nutrition and how it impacted meat quality. So I went to North Carolina State to work under Dr. John Brake and learn more about nutrition. Verax is a blood biomarker technology that we combine machine learning algorithms with the biomarkers that we collect to look for signs of disease, nutritional deficiencies. We use a lot of diagnostic as well as predictive and then prescriptive analytics to not only determine that there's an issue, but the best way to solve that issue based on the biomarkers that we're seeing and the pattern that we see in those biomarkers. Currently, Verax is able to identify a lot of the same problems that we already know exist: coccidiosis, necrotic enteritis, but also a really early detection of those disorders. So we have an opportunity to intervene. In the future, what we really like to see is Verax being able to not only identify the issue, but what specific way to overcome that issue. What way to address coccidiosis? Is it a bile shuttle? Should you be shifting your cocci program to a chemical or an ionophore? That's what we really would like to see Verax go in the future. The first step getting involved with Verax is we would come out, do an initial what we call a sample session, very similar to a posting session, but we would also collect the blood biomarkers. That'll go into our database, and we'll see how your birds compare against our healthy set of birds within our database. After that, we come back on a quarterly basis and not only measure where they're at that quarter, but how they compared to last quarter. And then any changes that were implemented or will be implemented get reported, and that all feeds that whole machine learning algorithm. So we're able to tell if those changes made a difference and what we should do next. Verax is unique because there's nothing like it in the industry. We know that as nutritionists, we can look at the dietary electrolyte balance, for example, and we know what it should be in the diet. But do we know what it should be in the bird? Do we know how those translate to those blood biomarkers? And then just like we measure them in the diet and we try to balance them, we're trying to do the same thing in the bird. Not just with the electrolyte balance, but with pH, bicarbonate, CO2, all these other markers that we measure.